All right, December 4th, we got a bunch of games on the schedule here. Tonight, 6 for the NHL. We'll break all those down, get into our best bets, as well as recap this past weekend because a pretty solid day for us there on Saturday, despite going 3-3. Still end up with 35% ROI on the day, so we'll get into a couple of those games, what won, what worked for us. But before we get into all of that, I want to remind everybody that today's show, as always, is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is by using multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp to help you do so. It is available in iOS, Android, as well as on the web, so make sure to download the app today because BetStamp compares odds across every sportsbook, whether that's for games, futures, or player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. If you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/edgework. That's betstamp.app/edgework. The link is available in the description of the show as well. So if you sign up through that link, it does help support us here. But that's enough for that. We're looking at this season so far on the Edgework show. 197-1. Over the course of 198 bets, we are hitting at a 6.2% ROI for this season. So it's been a pretty successful year for us so far, all the way through now into December. We'll look to keep that rolling for the remainder of the season, but just continuing to build off of what we had last year. And obviously that helps with this past weekend. We go 3-3 on Saturday's best bets. 35% ROI on the day, and that's largely in part because of a big winner there, Alex B, on the draw in the Leafs-Bruins game. What went into that one? What was your thought process ahead?
Well, there was this history there with those teams playing close, especially Toronto. Toronto leads the league now. That was their 11th game to go past regulation, and I've been cashing with quite a few of those so far this year. So, it's not draw season yet. That usually comes in the second half of the NHL regular season, but we've been hitting a lot of these regulation draws early in the year, and that was a nice one to get. Of course, needed some last-second heroics from Austin Matthews. 6 seconds left to tie that game up. And, I know a lot of people, text me and DM me and they say, wow, it's kind of nerve-wracking waiting for the game to go to overtime. But 2 of the last that I hit this past week, I hit that buzzer beater with Carolina and the Islanders, and then they hit with 6 seconds left in Toronto-Boston. I mean, you're hitting plus 330 and higher, getting buzzer beaters. There's nothing more exciting in sports than that.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. It was too bad as a Leafs fan to have to watch that one go into OT and have to watch them lose, but it also just felt like not that surprising that was going to be the case given how their season has kind of gone so far and the 50-50 coin flips that they've had in these OTs just for that one to end that way. But nice for us to get that win here as the Edgework show, and so money. You get the debut of Nikita Zadorov out there in Vancouver. You give out Canucks money line, they win. Big weekend for yourself and the other Vancouverites out there.
Yeah, this is one of those games where we touched on this last week where right now the teams are who they are and there's a range of possibilities for all of these teams, right? So there's a ceiling and the floor for like every team. So with the Canucks, I did feel on Saturday that we were going to get a ceiling level performance. And if we do get that, then even if Calgary does play their best game, I don't think that where the Canucks were as a dog should have been justified. So that's why the play was made. And we did get the ceiling level performance. I thought that the Canucks, the final score was a little bit misleading because especially in that second period, Markstrom was very good in that game. So happy with the play. Things worked out, and I made up a bit for that Vegas play that I had against the Canucks. So I feel slightly better. As long as the wins are coming, I'll deal with how bad I feel internally betting against the Canucks.
Yeah, fair, fair enough. I mean, you go to the game on the Thursday night, I believe it was, with Vegas in town, and bet on the Canucks. Have to sit there through it, pretending like you're not wanting the Vegas Golden Knights to win,
Yeah.
but then at least you get the win there on Saturday. Double for us, emotional win and financial win for the Edge team. So got to be happy about that. But leads to a good weekend for us there, helping continue what's been a strong season, and let's hope to continue that here today. And let's start with today's games. Again, if you do have questions in the chat, please send them in there. We'll try to answer those throughout the course of the show. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. It does help support us, help continue to grow everything. But yeah, participation is encouraged. It does help continue along with the show here today. So let's start first and foremost with the Pittsburgh Penguins Philadelphia Flyers game here tonight. We're starting in the 7 o'clock slate. The Flyers at home against the Penguins, plus 110 right now. The Penguins coming in minus 117. You see a total of 6.5. Alex, where are you kind of looking in this game? You have any interest?
You cut out. No, I didn't hear anything you said.
Looking at this Flyers Penguins game, do you have any interest here tonight? Is there anything you're trying to get a bet on?
Yeah, I've already jumped down on the Penguins on the money line. These two teams played on Saturday. Philadelphia got the 4-3 shootout win. And the quotes from the Penguins locker room were just pretty much in repeat. Just everybody was just not happy with the effort that the whole team had. And they just need to come up with a better effort. And these are two teams that always play each other tough, no matter how good or bad they are. The Flyers are going to always hang around and play well with the Penguins. You think about all the days when those two teams played in great playoff series. But even now, there's still going to be that animosity and that having this turnaround, which is something we haven't seen with these two teams in quite some time. We saw this a lot with those metropolitan teams kind of playing these back-to-back home-and-home series. So to get that kind of set up here with Pittsburgh at a cheap price, Pinnacle you land as low as the $1.17. I was able to grab $1.25 here in the States, but I still think that's a great price. I think the Penguins come out hot and ready and put the screws to Philadelphia tonight.
Where are you at here, so money with this one? We'll lock this in as our first play, by the way, for everyone out there listening, watching. Penguins money line minus 117.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Alex because the Penguins I have as a team that I do want to bet on going forward. I think we touched on this last week as well. I think they're
Yeah.
significantly better than what their record indicates, and I think this is a Penguins team that should be on the rise in the standings very shortly here. But you look at this solitary game. On Saturday night, the game in Pittsburgh, the Flyers closed at 39%. When you devig it, whatever. So they were 39% at the sharp book, right? So now you make the adjustment for the venue, and you make the adjustment for upgrading the goalie from Harrison to Hart. When you do that, I felt that there was a slight edge on the Flyers earlier. It has been bet down since. So right now, as it stands, it's a fair number to me when you make those two adjustments. So other than if you're able to quantify the Penguins uh, being better, significantly better than they were on Saturday, which I felt was pretty much a toss-up game, and the score indicated that. If you can quantify that, then I, I would be on the Penguins. But in this situation right now, I think that the line is fair.
All right, so we'll lock this one in as our first play of the day. Penguins money line minus 117. We'll obviously recap all of these bets at the very end of the show, so we will get to them. We will recap everything, what we bet on, the prices we bet them at, and the unit size that we got them at. Now, next game I'm interested in to see where you guys are at here. This one is with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Dallas Stars. Tampa's at home here tonight, plus 105. You can get best price on that. Make sure to shop around because some of the other shops here you can find minus 102, minus 105, minus 110s out there on Tampa. But you do see Pinnacle plus 105 here. I mean, this Tampa team, we kind of thought, me and Moretto at least had talked about it on some of the other shows, that this Tampa team was probably better than other people had anticipated for them to be, or coming into the season, or prepared for them to be. You're just waiting for Vasilevsky to come back. Then you see a big win out of Tampa against the Hurricanes, that 8-2 win where they had the historic numbers of shooting basically 50% in that game. And then since that point, it's been a loss to the Avalanche, a loss to the Coyotes, loss to the Penguins, and then an 8-1 loss to the Stars the other night. It's kind of a revenge opportunity here against Dallas. You see Vasilevsky get pulled in that game on Saturday. Everything for the Lightning that could have went wrong. Kind of temperatures starting to boil over there. And now you're seeing a plus 105 all the way out to like minus 105, minus 110s here on Tampa tonight. So, Money, where are you at with this Tampa team and where the market has shaped this game going into it tonight?
So this is similar to the Pittsburgh game in the sense that if you're able to quantify a better effort from Tampa Bay, and you feel that that effort is going to propel them to win the game, then you would be betting Tampa Bay, right? But for me, I need to see more from Tampa Bay. Like they just when I look at their when I've scored their games and I go through their game card here, like it, they're just not good right now, right? Like they got into a coin flip game against Pittsburgh. They were blown out against Dallas. They played a pretty good game against Arizona, but I mean, it's it's Arizona, right? Like they should have played a good game for that, right? And then Colorado they were blown out. So what we're seeing is against when they're stepping up in competition right now, they're not able to hang with these teams. Of course, Dallas is an elite team, so it's tough for me to get there on Tampa Bay right now, unless if I see something from them first. Maybe Vasilevsky is having a tough time getting going. There's no guarantee that he's going to start tonight either, right? So like this could be a situation where you don't want to push him too hard, and he gets the rest. And if he is, if he's not starting, and you're betting Tampa Bay right now, now you're now you're just sitting on a bad ticket, right? So I think that if you are betting Tampa Bay, that means you're able to quantify that they are getting a better effort, and you need confirmation that Vasilevsky is going to be playing. I don't have either of those variables with me right now, so I will be passing on the game. And I do want to bet on Tampa Bay going forward. I just need to see something from them first, and I'm not seeing anything right now.
Alex, is there any way that you'd want to start betting on Tampa here as well with so money? Would you find any way to attack this game tonight? Would you be waiting throughout the day, or is this just completely stay away for you?
As far as this game goes, I grabbed an over 6 yesterday at DraftKings. There's a couple of rogue sixes you can find. I think BetMGM still has one, and there's a couple of Canadian sites. But I grabbed the 6 just because I thought this line should be 6.5. Sure enough, there's mostly 6.5 now today. So that was my only look. But so money's right on it with Tampa Bay. The reason why I bet this team to miss the playoffs, and this was before the Vasilevsky injury, was just kind of seeing how they had been burnt out for so long, and it just seemed like teams had kind of figured them out. When you play high level hockey, you're playing in conference, finals and playing in Stanley Cup finals. Everybody's watching. Everybody has you on notice. So teams eventually figure you out sooner or later as you keep playing more games and you get worn down. So that, on top of the fact that now Vasilevsky gets hurt, misses this time, the backups aren't of quality. And the thing that I said when they announced that he was out is that it's a back procedure. So that means, 10 to 12 weeks he's gone. But when he comes back, that doesn't mean it's the Vasilevsky we saw win a Conn Smythe and win a Vezina and be one of the best goalies arguably of the last 5 years. And sure enough, he seems to be kind of struggling. He didn't have any kind of camp. He didn't have any kind of preseason. He didn't go to the AHL. He just came straight up after working out a couple of weeks off of the surgery and now being thrown back in the fire, and he doesn't look the same. So when you have that, and now you have a Jonas Johansson who played, he still now leads the league in games played. I think he has 19 starts already. So you're working him much harder than you expected to at the beginning of the year. You can't rely on anybody else in Syracuse. That's troublesome. And then the defense in front of them is not playing like their usual selves. That just spells doom when you look at how good a lot of these other teams are in the Atlantic Division and in the Eastern Conference. And Tampa Bay put themselves behind the 8 ball. And now playing against this Dallas offense that we know can light anybody up at any given time. They just did it to Tampa the other day. Who's to say that they can't do that now, especially if they have to play a Johansson who played half that game or play a Vasilevsky who still doesn't seem to be 100%.
And just to touch on the comment there, Inside was saying that Tampa Bay did beat Carolina 8-2, right? But my counter with that is that did they really beat them 8-2? that's what the scoreboard says, right? But is that how that game played out? Like you had Antti Ranta giving up like 10 goals below expected, right? Like I mean, that was one of like probably one of the worst goaltending performances that we've seen in the last few years, right? So,
Yes, yes,
and like Tampa Bay had like they scored 8 goals on 8 shots on goal, right? So I mean, did they really win that game 8-2? And I
Yeah,
was on Tampa Bay in that game as well.
yeah.
right.
I had to draw heading in the third period. It's 3-2. I'm going. Oh, all right, this might be a
Yeah.
close, fun one. 2 minutes later, I look back. I'm like, this game's well over.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. There's a rundown of the Tampa Dallas game. Was kind of interesting where you guys were coming in at that one, given everything kind of circulating around that team right now, just how they've been playing over the last stretch. Maybe an opportunity for a revenge game here tonight, but more of a hold off here for us. Now, moving on to another game here on the schedule tonight, the Montreal Canadiens. Moretto's Montreal Canadiens hosting the Seattle Kraken at home tonight. The Habs come into this one plus 138. The Kraken minus 148. You're seeing a total of 6.5 right now. So, Money, what's the way that you're looking to approach this game tonight?
So I am betting the under here. I think that up to minus 115 we're good on the under 6.5. We can still get that, right? Yeah.
Yep, minus
Yeah.
108, minus 110, 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm on the under here. I think that um Montreal, they have given up, and again, if you look at the scoreboard, they have given up 5 goals in each of the last 2 games, right? But I don't think that those are 5 goals that they've given up the way that they played the games, right? So I do think Montreal, um, they do have trouble generating. They're not that poor defensively, as hard as it sounds. Like in terms of the chances that they give up, I think for the most part they are able to clamp it down. For Seattle, we've talked about Seattle all year. I've been very consistent with my thoughts on the Kraken. Nothing has changed. They have trouble generating. They are able to play defensively when they need to, but they don't get the consistent goaltending, right? And with the goaltending, there's nothing I can do about that, right? Like they just um, as long as they're playing the style 5-on-5 that I think that they should be playing, then the way that they're playing matched up against Montreal, those two elements combined should be conducive to an under here. So that's why we are on the under 6.5. I think that 6.5 is a little too high, and like especially at up to minus 115, that's where we're at right now.
All right, so under 6.5, minus 108. We'll track that one here on the show for today. There are plenty out there, so you can find minus 108s, minus 112, 110s. So make sure to shop around. Sign up at Betstamp using betstamp.app/edgework to sign up for sportsbooks. If you're not able to get one of these prices, maybe you just got to find it over on a different sportsbook there. But Alex, is there anything for you in this game tonight?
No, nothing much on this game. I mean, it makes sense to look toward the under. Like I said, Seattle, just their up and down, just kind of play. You just never know what you're going to get from them night in and night out, which is just kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I would definitely could see this one being kind of a lower scoring, tighter game. Maybe a sprinkle on the draw, perhaps. But I'm probably staying away from this one.
All right. Well, Alex, I know that the next game that we're looking at, you do have some interest in, you and So Money here, and I think you're kind of waiting for some similar stuff. Well, but that's with the Arizona Coyotes hosting the Washington Capitals tonight. Arizona minus 120. You see the Capitals plus 112 there, and a total currently sitting at 6. There are some 5.5s if you're looking at some different books, but that would be heavily juiced to the over on those. Alex, what are you waiting for in this Coyotes game? Which side would you like to back, and why is it that you would be looking that way?
Yeah, I'm looking to back the Coyotes, and I'm waiting for confirmation. I would like to have Connor Ingram in net, but in all honesty, with this matchup and this price, I still would probably be taking a shot with the Yotes if Karel Vejmelka does get the start. He has struggled a little bit, 2-7-1 on the season. But this Capitals team, I just don't trust in them, their consistency. I think they're due to kind of regress back to the form we saw at the beginning of the year. And this Arizona team, with all the injuries and the people that they're missing, they're still playing some solid, consistent hockey. Like I said, Ingram being a big factor in that with his 10-3 record. But Arizona's in good form right now. I think it's a cheap enough price to take a shot with.
All right, so there you go. Arizona minus 129. So Money, I teased it. I said you're looking in a similar direction. Where were you at with the Coyotes? What were you waiting for?
I completely agree with Alex. My concern and the problem I have right now is that I'm a little disappointed that Arizona took money so early without the Ingram confirmation. There's such a big difference right now between Ingram and Vamelka. Um,
Right.
and if I were to bet Vamelka, I needed a much cheaper number, which was available last night, right? So that's unfortunate. With Ingram, I'm on the Coyotes up to minus 125, um, but I do need that confirmation. I can't get there at this number without him. So that's what I'm waiting on. I'm assuming he starts, but I can also see a situation here where he's had a bunch of starts in a row, and non-conference game, I can see them going. I can see them giving him a rest. So
Yeah.
as soon as Ingram is confirmed, I'm on the Coyotes. If he's not confirmed, I'm not gonna lay this number with Vamelka. So um, that's where I'm at. I need Ingram to bet up to minus 125.
Right.
Yeah, I've had a big flip flop in my numbers. At the beginning of the year, I had Vamelka about 10 cents higher than Connor Ingram,
Mhm.
and Ingram looked good at the second half of last year, so that's the reason why I was even that close. But now I have it, yeah, where Ingram's 20 cents better than Vamelka in my opinion. So yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, you'd want plus money essentially if you're looking at Vamelka, where $1.20 with Ingram seems fine.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, one more game that we're looking at on the schedule here tonight in terms of our best bets. So if anybody has any questions, please fire them away in the chat. We'll try to get to those before we close this one off. But that would be the St. Louis Blues, the Vegas Golden Knights game here tonight. Vegas at home against the St. Louis Blues. Vegas minus 182 right now. St. Louis plus 165. We see a total of 6 on books like Pinnacle. You see 6.5 on some of the other books here. Alex, what's the way that you're looking to go into this game and place bets on this one? Alex, any way that you're looking to
Okay, here we go.
attack this game tonight. There you go.
Yeah. Which game are we on? Because now I'm like confused. I'm looking around. I'm not hearing anything. It's going in and out.
Vegas, St. Louis. Sorry.
This is okay. This is the other game that I like. The first period over here, minus $1.30. I'm seeing a wide variance, so definitely want to shop around here. I like this all the way up to $1.40, and so you're seeing the gamut. You can pretty much kind of pick and choose what you want. Obviously, get the best of the number and use bet stamp to do that. But Vegas is a team that normally likes to play low and slow early in games. They've been the kings of the first period under, but taking on St. Louis, they're a team that's kind of in historical meetings, they've kind of brought the fight to them early. They've kind of drawn them into playing their style, which it's interesting enough. St. Louis doesn't necessarily seem like a high tempo team against everybody, but for some reason they feel like that's the way they can compete against Vegas. So in saying that, there's an 8-2 record the last 10 meetings to the first period over. St. Louis has been doing well in scoring goals early and giving up goals early as well. So I'm taking a shot here with that first period over at a decent price.
All right, and final one locked in there. For us, for best bets, so many. Are there any other games here tonight that you're kind of looking at, wanting to get involved in? You haven't got there yet. Maybe you're waiting on information, waiting on a market move. Anything else on the board that you're just not quite there yet?
Just the Coyotes that I'm waiting on. I'm seeing if Pittsburgh gets a little bit lower, I'll be there with Alex. It's fair right now, but the Flyers have been taking money this morning, so if Pittsburgh gets to minus 115, I'll be on them. Other than that, that's it. Just waiting on Ingram right now.
All right, and Alex, anything for you?
No, just the couple plays that we went over is pretty much all I got. Like I said, the other game that we didn't touch on, Carolina Winnipeg game, that's something I'll probably be looking for live bets with.
Right. All right. Well, there you go. That'll do it for today's show. To recap in terms of what we have for our best bets, which you can find all of these over in the BetStamp app. So please make sure to check that out. Find better section as Edgebrook HQ. You can track everything that we've done throughout the course of the season, as well as dating back to last year, see where we're at. But for today, we're looking at the Pittsburgh Penguins money line minus 117 against the Philadelphia Flyers there. For full unit on all of these, by the way, then we've got the Seattle Kraken, Montreal Canadiens under 6.5 minus 108. the Coyotes money line minus 120. And finally, the Blues, Vegas, first period over 1.5 minus 126 there. So 4 bets for tonight. You can track all these in the BetStamp app in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ. Make sure to check those out. As for more content coming up across the rest of the Hammer Betting Network for the remainder of the day, lots of stuff going on here. First and foremost, we'll take a look over at the board NBA at 11:30 coming up. Jacob Grimenia, Pips NBA coming up. SGP's player props, sides, totals for the NBA. Then the NFL show over on Forward Progress, 2 p.m. George Sofita, Suma, Clev TA, recapping this week's games, what happened, early look aheads to this upcoming week, as well as previewing the Monday Night Football game. Then 5 p.m. over on Hit the Books, college football. Joey Knish, Brad Powers breaking down all of the bowl games that are going to be coming up. So you're not going to want to miss that as Circle releases openers, Pinnacle releases openers. Those guys will be breaking down those numbers. Try to get you guys some best bets on some of these early looks for the numbers that come out for these bowl games. And then finally, later tonight, the Monday Night Football watch party with Rob Pizzola and different guests from the Hammer Betting Network for the Monday Night Football games. Believe tonight, actually, there's 2 football games, so should be a doubleheader coming at you for tonight's schedule. But thank you so much for everyone who tuned in. We do appreciate the support. So Money, Alex, thank you guys as always for doing this. For everyone out there, enjoy the games tonight. Hopefully we see you across some of the other Hammer channels throughout the remainder of the day. But enjoy the games. Good luck on your bets. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time.